Hello everyone, welcome to the Mint analysis for 17th March 2022. So today's highlight is that Sensex and Nifty both are up because of robust global cues. And what are these global cues we are talking about here is the first is about the recovery of Chinese tech stocks. So after a brutal sell-off, they are up again, and there are some reasons behind it. We will see them in the upcoming articles. And the second is about progress in Russia-Ukraine peace talks, and third is about drop in global crude oil prices, which is also because of the uh, release of the uncertainty. So now there is less uncertainty about Russia and Ukraine war. That's why the global crude oil prices are going down, because there will be no supply constraint. Might be there may be some kind of supply constraint, but that will be less. So that's why there is a global drop in crude oil prices. Now we were talking about Chinese tech stocks. So why is it happening? Because Beijing is stepping in to boost the world's second largest economy, which is China, and also China has released a statement saying that it will look forward to the stability in the economy. So that's why the tech stocks are now a little bit relieved, and they have gained more than ever. So they have gained more than what they had gained after the financial crisis of 2008 or ever since then. And also the stocks such as Tencent and Alibaba Group have gained more than 23%, which is such a huge number. So that's why the tech stocks are being optimistic right now, because last year or late 2020s they had faced huge fines from Chinese government, and even before the IPO or after the IPO they faced a a very stressful situation on the company. So that's a relief, and that's why they are up. Now, also the meeting that was going to held on 15 March about US Federal Reserve. So they were going to decide when they will, pull up the interest rates. And now that meeting has already happened, which further reduces the uncertainty. So now you can see that the Sensex, it is up by 2.09%, and even Nifty 50 is up by 2.01% right now. So this is the reduction in the uncertainty, because of which the stocks are going up. And also the crude prices, which has boosted investor sentiment. So before it was $130, and right now it's nearly $100. And also because of Russia-Ukraine war. So because now there will be easing of supply disruption, and hence less uncertainties, and hence boosted investor sentiment, and that's why stocks are up, indices are up. So this is the highlight. Now let's go to the main news. Amazon accuses RIL Future of collusion. So this news talks about how RIL has acquired the assets of Future, which is 950 retail stores that were there with Future. So they came into an arrangement where Future wanted to make some payments to its lenders. So RIL gave its amount, and these stores were now subleased to Future. So these stores now subleased to Future, and Future was using these stores to carry out its operations. But it was in the legal documents itself that if it fails to make any payment, if it defaults, then these stores will go back to the RAL along with the commodities or the products that it has in the store. So now Amazon is saying that it is a wicked step from both of them, and it shouldn't have happened, and that's why it has went to court again. And court is saying that they will hear the matter on 23rd March. However, this is such a huge blow to the lenders, because those were the major assets of Future Retail, and now the creditors and shareholders don't have anything with substantial value, because the things that mattered, that these 950 retail stores that are already with RIL right now. Second news is about how the construction of highways was interrupted because of various reasons, and government was not able to fulfill its target of 14,600 kilometer of highways in 2021 to 2022. So the first reason was that there was a peak of in COVID cases between April to June, because of which the construction could not happen. The second reason was of because of extended monsoon. So because of extended monsoon, they were again not able to construct the roads, and because of which the final goal of having 14,600 kilometer of highways is still lagging behind. Next is airline face the heat as jet fuel prices see record hike. So these airlines have around 30 to 40% of the cost that comes from this jet fuel prices. And since the jet fuel prices has seen a hike in Delhi itself, it's 18.3% price increase. So it is putting a pressure on airlines, because right now people are willing to go out, and because of rise in jet fuel prices, these airlines might have to pull up the prices as well, which might impact demand. So it was supposed to be a recovery period for aviation industry. However, the jet fuel prices is making it the worst right now. Now, next news is EdTech a big draw for teachers despite easing COVID situation. So we know that COVID situation is easing down, but still the teaching professionals are getting attracted to the EdTech industry, because it allows them to teach online, and it is still gaining much attraction in these professionals. Next is EU hikes tariffs on India's stainless steel makers, citing unfair subsidies. So, as you might have known, that there were many companies who were trying to gain advantage of this Ukraine crisis, and they were going to supply steel to the European Union. However, European Union is saying that these steel which comes from India and Indonesia, they already benefit from unfair subsidies. So their products, by manufacturing, they have already gained so much of unfair advantage due to subsidies given on the product. So hence they are hiking the tariffs, and which can further impact the revenue, because if they hike the tariffs, it will make the product more costlier, and eventually the demand might get hampered. So this is the news. Next is India boosts fertilizer imports from Canada and Israel amid Ukraine crisis. So we had already seen that this was supposed to be a sowing season, Kharif season. So, but still, the fertilizer costs were going up because of the shortage of raw materials such as urea, which was a major, raw material while making the fertilizer. So right now India is boosting fertilizer import from Canada and Israel. So we don't have the information about the cost here, whether it is higher while importing or not, but it was important. And it's also important to have these fertilizers, because the agriculture sector makes up a lot for our GDP, and even the workforce that is employed in agriculture is around 60% of the country's workforce. So more than half of our workforce is engaged in agriculture, and the agriculture sector accounts for 15% of the dollar 2.7 trillion economy of India. So 15% of share is comes from agriculture, and 60% is employed. So even if it has to incur a little cost, I think it would be okay for India to go ahead with it. So let's see the next news. RBI directs checks on small Russian banks for payments. So this topic was in talks for certain days. So right now, what RBI is doing, it is trying to have some options to get back the payments which were due to the exporters of India. So what happened was, they had already shipped the products to Russia or other countries, especially Russia. So there were many shipments there. They were not unloaded, and now the payments are stuck there. So we are not able to get the payments for the shipments already done. So for that, various channels were being, we were finding the various channels, and one of them was to get it through the local banks of Russia, on which the SWIFT sanctions have not been imposed. And right now we have found one bank, which is Bank Zenit, which can be used for such payments. And right now there is a certain due diligence, which is in reality some kind of legal research that you can say, that is being done so that we can source in the payments in our country. Next is Amazon Prime Video's former content head starts own company. So Vijay Subramaniam, he used to work in Amazon Prime content, and right now he has started his own company with the name 29 September Works, which develops, finances, and produces film specifically for the southern states. So this is his job, and it's quite impressive how he was able to gain the skills and now utilizing it towards his own venture. Next is Gadkari launches hydrogen EV. So this EV that he's launching is Toyota Mirai, and in near future you can expect many such EVs, because from the past itself, you can see how many funds have been specially created to fund the EV sector, and how many companies have already started its own brand specifically for EV. And there are also PLI incentives that are being given by the government. So EV sector is the one which will gain momentum, and it has already seen an uprise in the demand itself. So here comes the EV era. Next is lease renewals key to office demand pickup. So here we are discussing about how the vacancy rates have been high till quarter 3 2021, which was the highest. So you can see the chart here. It was highest in quarter 3 2021. However, in quarter 4 2021, it was 17.2%, which is slightly lower than before. And going ahead, we are saying that till now, IT sector was the major part which used to occupy the office spaces, but going forward, startups are also going to use this office space, because of which the vacancy will further go down. So this is the main crux of the news, and here some global IT companies which have renewed its office space. Its lease is Accenture and WNS. However, here we are saying that e-commerce and startups will be a demand driver for office space. Here you can see that certain figures are given that how much of lease is expected to expire in fiscal year 2022, and how much of it has already been renewed. So just to give you a little background, what happens is that when you lease some space, you lease it for a certain period, for example 5 years, 4 years, 3 years, or 6 years. So after, so that is called the that the period, the lease period. And towards the end, you have to renew the lease in order to be able to utilize that space for further years. Now here, the expired, so the lease which were going to expire in fiscal year 2022 in one of the REITs was 1.9 million square feet. So 1.9 of it was contract of square feet of contract was going to be expired. However, zero point 0.5 has been renewed for this Embassy Office Parks REIT. For another Mindspace Business Park REITs, it was going to 2.5 million square feet was going to be expired. However, it has released, it was able to release 1.1 million square feet. So you can see that releasing part is still low, which is so you can see less than a half. However, it is they are going to see increase in demand because of e-commerce and startup sector. So that's about the news. Next is oil prices. We have already seen that. China stocks rebound strongly as state council votes support. So, as I was saying, that after global financial crisis, this is the first time these Chinese stocks are so optimistic, and they have seen and gained more than 23%. And this is also because China will keep the stock market stable. So this is a huge statement for the technological sector, that China will keep the stock market stable and support overseas share listing, because of which now they have positive sentiments and the stocks are going up. Center to stay engaged with firms that made auto PLI cuts. So government took this initiatives to provide PLI cut. Uh, so they were providing production linked incentive to these farms, and around 90 companies had applied for SOPs to manufacture auto components, and it has also attracted around 74,000 crore proposed investment. So you can see how successful it was. So for the past 6 months, the government was in touch with stakeholders in framing the PLI scheme, and will continue to support them to set up the manufacturing infrastructure. So right now, you must have seen from the side of Prime Minister Narendra Modi as well, that he's pushing this sector, the manufacturing sector, and there are various PLI schemes because of which other companies are also coming in into India. For example, you can see about the for example Xiaomi. They are also coming here to manufacture and to set up their you know production units, so that they can benefit from this PLI scheme and able to manufacture it and export it outside, and because of which the companies that are in India are gaining attraction from outside companies. Next is Starbucks CEO Kevin Johnson to step down. So the CEO of Starbucks is stepping down, and meanwhile the founder will be serving as an interim chief. So Nothing special, more special in these today's newspaper. If you want the PDF of it, you can join my Telegram group. The link will be in description. Thank you for watching it, and please subscribe if you liked it.